Hvala lepa. Spoštovani.
Thank you very much. Dear participants, on my own behalf and on behalf of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Slovenia, I would like to welcome you at the International Conference on Political Foundations. Welcome to Slovenia, welcome to Ljubljana. When we think about the term of a political foundation, we see that this is mostly a charity entity, legally defined as an institution, as a foundation, that is a private, that is a legal entity governed by private law. It falls under the responsibility of the Ministry of Labour, and this ministry must issue a consent for the setup of a foundation. And this foundation's purpose must be durable and should serve a common purpose. It serves a common purpose if it operates in the area of sports, culture, healthcare, environmental care, cultural heritage protection, religious services, and so on. Why have I mentioned the common purpose on the one hand and the legal definition of a foundation on the other hand? Because this is the basis that can help us deduct that in Slovenia, so far, we have not yet recognized the role of foundations when it comes to the creation of political awareness and fostering political participation. Understanding the general skeleton of politics, understanding the mechanisms, the actions and consequences is crucial. The majority of European states, the so-called mature members of the European Union, have long ago recognized the role and importance of political foundations. Last but not least, these political foundations have become a part of European legislation, more precisely a regulation that recognizes them as organizations linked to the political parties at the European level, which means that they are recognized as organizations which support political parties and help them fulfill their missions when it comes to processes of European integration and other issues. What is more, political foundations often act as initiators of new ideas, new pathways, new political options. The regulation also defines the annual contribution for the operation of political foundations that is given by the European Parliament to those foundations that make a request. And what is also important from the point of view of coordination with civil society and civil initiatives is the role of a political foundation which defends the positions within a certain political field, representing a link, a point of contact between the civil society and the established politics and the political parties. In simple terms, after several months of operations in this field, I can see that political mechanisms are misunderstood in Slovenia. They are understood as two opposing poles, those against and those in favor. And I see that the main reason for fear is a kind of mystification of political mechanisms, especially when it comes to electronic media and mostly the television. And here we see that the mentality goes into two ways. The first one is mistrust, deep mistrust into politics and politicians because of its current orientation. I will not speak about the reasons for that. And on the other hand, we see a complete misunderstanding of how political mechanisms function. And most of all, a representative of a society is recognized as an object that lives a life that alienates him or her from life in general, because it is bound to political issues. And what is a deep cause for concern is that young people adhere to these kind of thinking as well. But we must understand that this is not the case. Political foundations are a generator of an active process. Political foundations should serve an active citizen that doesn't see political life in his or her country as black or white, but as a multicolored process. That is, a citizen that sees all the shades of grey. Active citizenship is not something that can be dictated from the top, from the politics side. The politics should find the way to recognize and support the political world that will give the power to the active citizen. So active citizenship foresees active participation of each individual to strengthen social democracy, and also to strengthen the people's feeling for other people, to strengthen their feeling of insertion, and to deal with demystification. This is where I see the main role of political foundations. Many people, however, think that active citizenship is linked to voluntarism and to various activities conducted within civil society and non-governmental institutions. That is why we must stress that active citizenship is not only participation in the civil society, but active participation in the political life of one's country. On the other hand, politics should be open for such active participation. Citizens should be involved, not only because this is the right thing to do, but because this is the only way to ensure democratic activity. That is one major mission for political foundations. To conclude, from my own perspective, from the perspective of my role, I see political foundations as organizations that will foster discussion and enable us to recognize politics and recognize activities within political processes. A democratic society needs citizens who understand political processes and can co-create them. Thank you.